Good morning, Prepper Nation. John here. Good foggy morning at that. I want to let you folks know, first of all, that going to have the bugging out video done sometime this weekend. I had originally intended to do it and have it ready this morning. I just have not had the time, folks. But I have not forgotten that we have some bugging out to talk about. So this weekend, promise. I want to take a second and thank my newest patrons, Penny, Lisa, and Jay Wayne. Appreciate it, folks. Patron, $1 a month. The link is down below. And I want to give a shout out to Yossi for buying me some coffee this morning, which I'm going to partake in once this video is done filming. Appreciate that. Finally, I want to answer a question from Brenda over on Patreon. She wants to know who else to support here on YouTube, which prepping communities to support. And so I wrote down 4 or 5 of my favorites. And I'm sorry it took so long to get back to you on that. The Prepared Mind. John over at the Prepared Mind is probably my favorite YouTuber. Just the way he talks. I mean, check him out if you have not already. Alaska Prepper is awesome. Some of my subscribers here actually turned me on to Alaska Prepper. I didn't know he was out there, and he was fantastic. Viking Preparedness, probably one of the more popular YouTube channels for prepping. He is also fantastic. The Angry Prepper, who is based in New York, he gives a lot of practical advice for people who are living in, downtown in cities and things like that. He does a lot of prepping videos catered to city folks, if you will. An Ice Age Farmer. Check him out on YouTube and also on Patreon. Now, he does not have a lot of content on Patreon, but he has a lot of supporters on Patreon, and most of those supporters or people like me are actually prepping YouTubers. And he does a lot of the research for us. And we know that he does a great job, so we support him there on Patreon. Anyway, let's get to today's topic, which I know it's September 11th, folks, and we need never to forget about September 11th. I tried to cover it yesterday because I know everybody is going to be covering it today. But I don't want you folks to think that I've forgotten it at all. Actually, today I'm going to be covering 2021. Not many prepping channels are talking about what next year is going to look like. And I think a lot of people, internationally as well as here in the United States, they think that after the November election, well, things are going to kind of ramp down and get back to normal. And unfortunately, I don't believe that's the case at all. And so let's talk about 2021 and what it is going to look like. First of all, what you need to understand, folks, is that we are in a depression right now. Not a recession, not a possible depression. We are in the Second Great Depression. Now, what has happened is, first of all, Wall Street, right? If you take a look at the stocks, they are hugely inflated. And I think that they're being inflated purposefully. And I know this might upset some of you Trump folks out there, and I'm sorry. I'm a Trump guy myself. But Trump loves Wall Street, and Wall Street loves Trump. He does support big business. Most Republicans do. And so I think personally that Wall Street, you have Silicon Valley, and they really want Biden and Harris to win this thing, but you have Wall Street, and they really like to have Republican presidents. And so I think Wall Street is inflated right now to make Trump and to make our economy look better than it actually is. And that's just my opinion, but I think it's a valid opinion. I think that most of the figureheads on Wall Street understand that we're in dire straits. But they can't come out and say it because then there's going to be national panic and then Trump may not get reelected, right? So that's just the feeling that I have there. I think following the election, I mean, you take a look at the rest of the year, there's going to probably be no Black Friday shopping, which isn't a huge deal for me. I don't really care about Black Friday shopping, but retailers do. And that is going to be a huge monetary loss for these retailers. So at the tail end of the year, they're going to start reporting a lot of negative for the year. And that's going to amplify what's going on Wall Street, which is, again, inflated numbers. In my personal opinion, they're just kicking the can down the road. They know they're going to have to deal with this at some point, but they're kind of waiting until after the election. So the economic fallout, all of this money that we are printing out of thin air and just handing out, sending out stimuluses, big businesses, things like that, it's got to be paid for somehow. And there just are not enough jobs right now to pay for what we have, much less all of this money that's materializing. So that's a huge problem moving forward. Number two, and I've been saying this for months now, food shortage. Food shortage, food shortage. Write it down. We're already seeing spots and areas in this country where food is scarce. You know, at this point, my local grocery store I walk in, on many items, there's no longer a choice. You only have one brand to choose from. The rest are gone. And the one brand is starting to get thinner. The food shortage, as I've said this week, is a manufactured crisis. It's the whole create the problem, and it's a globalist deal. They're going to create the problem. They're going to manufacture the food shortage. And then they're going to swoop in and say, well, we know how to solve it, but you're going to have to agree to this. One world government, basically. And so you need to be stacking food and water, and you need to be preparing for this. You need to get seeds if you can possibly get them, because food is going to be scarce in 2021. It's just going to get worse and worse. Number three, I think in 2021, civil unrest. All right, so the election's going to go one of two ways. Biden and Sanders win. If Biden and Sanders win the election, they're coming after the Second Amendment, period. Make no mistake. They're going to come after your guns. There are a couple of guns going off in the background now. People over here, we're so far out that they, and I do it too, you know, we target practice and stuff, sometimes from the back porch. But anyway, they're going to come after your guns. And they are going to sell the country, or try to sell the country, on the idea that we need to unify the country, and we cannot unify the country with a gun culture, and therefore we need to take your guns. I think that they will angle it. I'm going to go a step further than a lot of preppers here on YouTube. I think that they're going to angle it to the point where we are similar to Canada, where you can own guns, you just cannot open carry or conceal carry them. So this limits the movements of the guns. I think that this is going to be the plan of the left, should they win in 2021. Should Donald Trump win, and let me just say that that's going to, if Sanders and Kamala Harris win, Bernie Sanders, no, Biden, or whoever that guy is that they keep hauling around like Weekend at Bernie's, the old guy that's half alive and can't speak, and Kamala Harris, if they win and they go after the guns, up to this point, conservatives have went along with the little song and dance, the little tap dance of wearing the mask and 6 feet apart. They're not going to give their guns up. Not going to happen. I think if the left wins this election and they try and push that agenda, you will see full-blown hot civil war in the streets. They're just not going to do it. Just a prediction. Should Trump win, the left is going to go loco. The extreme left. We are talking about downtown Portland times 100 in pretty much every major city across the country. They are going to go bananas, son, if Trump is reelected again. If Trump is reelected, I fear that we could enter a stage where we see martial law, simply because there's going to be so much civil unrest. He is going to drop the hammer on Silicon Valley. And they're going to call him, a Stalinist or whatever, a fascist for doing it. But Google, places like Google, they have way too much power. Twitter and stuff like that. He's going to drop the hammer. I think he has not done it yet because he has to worry about the re-election. Once he's re-elected and he's in his last 4 years in office, he is going to drop the hammer on a lot of people. The rioting and stuff that we're seeing in these cities, he'll just straight move the military in at that point, and I think we'll see martial law. So either way, it's not going to be good. But let me just say this, okay? Because there's more than just the left and the right at this point. The folks on the right and Wall Street, they want Trump to win. The folks on the left and Silicon Valley, they want Biden and Kamala Harris to win. The extreme left, your socialists and your communists, they wanted Bernie Sanders. So they are not going to be happy either way. You're not going to see Antifa go away. It doesn't matter who wins the election. So let me just throw that out there. Number 4, pull off my list here. World instability. We're going to see tons of world instability after our election here in the United States. As the world's reserve currency, what happens here in the United States affects every other nation. Having the strongest military in the world affects every other nation. And there are a lot of countries that have our back, but there are also a lot of countries that want to see the United States fall. Now, you factor all of that in, you add a severe economic depression worldwide and a severe food shortage worldwide. I think we have the potential to see countries that are desperate enough begin to invade other countries that have food supplies. China and India, for example, keep your eyes open on that one. I do see a scenario in which India, don't sleep on India, they have a huge military. But China and North Korea going in on India, I mean, that could spark World War III. So just keep your eyes, open on that one, folks. And just understand that we may have it bad here in the United States right now, but it's going to be bad everywhere in 2021. It's not going away. And finally, and potentially the biggest here for us in America, vaccines, forced vaccines. Not everybody in power is a fan of forced vaccines. You need to understand these forced vaccines are globalism, right? Globalism. Again, manufacture the crisis and then play hero and try and solve it. And do this in order to gain power. That's all globalists care about. It's about gaining power. These folks, I mean, these are the 1% of the 1%, right? These folks are super rich. They never have to worry about money. They have so much money that money is not even, it doesn't do anything for them anymore, right? So they become power hungry. That's what it's all about. They control these multi-billion-dollar corporations, and they're used to that sort of control. So the next step up is, let's control the country. Well, they're doing that now, through lobbying. So what's the next step, the obvious step? Let's see if we can control the world. That's next on the old bucket list for the elites. And that's what globalism is all about. They know that there's a severe food shortage. They know it because they've manufactured it. They know that we have too many people on planet Earth to sustain them by the year 2050. That's what Agenda 21 is all about. Google it. I can't speak on it here, or they will ghost this channel. So they know we have too many mouths to feed. We're running out of room. That's what eugenics is all about. That's what Planned Parenthood is all about, folks. Hate to break it to you. They want to cull the population and keep it under control. They want to move you to urban areas. And the forced vaccine could potentially spark a revolution here in the United States. I'm not talking about a communist revolution. I'm talking about patriots taking this country back, because there's only so much that people are willing to put up with. And I'm not advocating violence whatsoever. Let me make that abundantly clear. We need to be peaceful. But at some point, if they come around and they are trying to take people's guns away, which folks of all colors, I might add, have a God-given right to protect themselves with whatever means necessary. And then on top of that, they want to grab your arm and shove a untested vaccine in it. Nah, not happening here. I can tell you that now. Send as many blue helmets as you want up to the Ponderosa, son. It ain't happening. So anyway, 2021, unfortunately, is going to be far worse than 2020. I'm not saying this to scare you folks. I'm saying this because you're preppers and you need to go ahead and prepare for this. Because the average citizen out there is not preparing for this. After the elections here in the United States in November, the average citizen is going to figure out, oh my God, it's going to be worse in 2021, and then the panic is on. So you need to have everything. You need to have your house in order. You need to have your bunker in or your bug out plan, both preferably in order and ready to go. You need to have all the supplies you need. You need to have the weaponry that you're going to need, the medical supplies, etc., ready to go by the November election. And so anyway, if you would like to support this channel and you haven't done so, please like and subscribe. That's the easiest way to support the channel. If you want to buy me a coffee sometime, I'll shout you out on a video most definitely. The link is down below. And then finally, for $1 a month, if you want to join Patreon and read all about Agenda 21, it's over there. The link is down below. Anyway, you folks have a great rest of the day. This is John. God bless.